Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the TRBusiness Adapt and Survive Skype video series. Today we are joined by Vimal Rai, Managing Director of TRACE, which stands for Travel, Retail, Aviation, Customer Excellence. Hi Vimal.
Hey Andrew, hi, thanks for having me.
It's great to see you again, albeit virtually. Just wanted to kick things off by asking the most important question is how are you and your family coping during this awful crisis?
Yeah, I think like everyone else, we're just trying to make the best of it, right? For a few weeks, we were separated in different countries, but I managed to make my way back to Hong Kong. We're all together now. When I came in, we had a wrist tag. We were tagged. We had to be quarantined for 14 days, but it's all good. My 7-year-old is the master of Zoom and Google Docs. My 11-year-old is playing lots of online games. I've gotten back to my caveman days. I'm cooking a lot. So it's all good. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm also doing lots of things I've never done at home. I'm cooking more, cleaning more. I'm even running. So it's all good. Can you please provide a brief overview of your business and the impact the pandemic is having on it?
Yeah, the travel retail side of it is obviously quiet. I mean, everyone that I had been talking to has put aside, has postponed investments in passenger experience and new investments. I was scheduled to fly to Europe to train a European airline cabin crew and to do a strategy session with the board, and all of that got cancelled within 48 hours last month. So it's all quiet. But I think, back in 2018, I'd taken a decision to pivot and de-risk my business against travel retail a little by pivoting into social media marketing. It was an area that I wasn't particularly strong in. And so I spent a lot of time and investment in learning as well as executing campaigns. I've also partnered with the world's top social media transformation organization, DLA Ignite. And through them, I've specialized in a space that not many people seem to realize is super powerful. It's B2B social media, organic marketing. So I now teach businesses and leaders how to successfully leverage organic and not paid advertising, but organic social media marketing to exponentially grow sales, increase brand awareness and visibility, and drive employee satisfaction. I teach people how to use social media from a business perspective. And I must say, I'm really fortunate that I did this about 1.5 years ago, because in the last 2 months, because of the pandemics and lockdown, it's been a huge surge in digital adoption. That's what everybody's doing. That's where everybody is. Even the conferences have gone online, right?
Yeah, there's so many webinars, Zoom calls. I think this is going to be this is going to form part of the new norm and the new paradigm going forward.
Sure. Yeah.
Can you just offer a little bit more of an insight into what you've been doing to adapt and survive, both personally and professionally, during the pandemic?
Yeah, I've been really, really busy helping a number of senior C-level executives and also organizations prepare themselves for a post-COVID situation and recovery. For the individuals, a lot of them are realizing the value of improving their online digital presence. And so I'm helping them with everything from LinkedIn profiles to producing relevant content that will help them stand out on LinkedIn. For the organizations, I'm doing similar things. It's just that the scale is different. And the other thing I'm doing with them is I'm helping them around relaunch and recovery strategies. So for one medium-sized airport in Europe, for example, I'm helping them plan for the relaunch of operations in the short term. For another travel tech organization, I'm helping them establish a go-to-market strategy with an organic marketing plan around their solutions that doesn't cost them too much money. This involves not just subject matter expertise, which comes from me on travel, retail, and aviation, but also knowledge of how to market in an environment which is increasingly digital and which needs to be very, very cost effective.
And you just touched on the post-COVID-19 era and the recovery. How do you expect things to change from a sales and marketing perspective with duty-free and travel retail in mind?
Yeah, I think unfortunately we'll see two things happen. There will be the traditionalists who will try to do things the same old way, and there will be those who have prepared for the next pandemic. Touch wood, I hope it doesn't happen, but they will be prepared because they're agile and they're putting in place strategies to prepare themselves for a new future. The traditionalists will continue to hope that the Chinese passengers will travel. They'll argue with landlords about rent and mags. They'll continue to operate terrible e-commerce websites and so on, right? They'll throw good money after bad advertising. I think eventually they'll downsize, get acquired, or limp along. The second group is going to be a lot more interesting. I think they will strengthen digital expertise in-house. They're already doing it. They will seriously adopt a more direct-to-market approach, whether that's directly to consumer or direct-to-partner. They'll cut out the unnecessary middlemen. They will invest in building stronger omni-channel capabilities. And most importantly, they will invest in understanding their customers better and in targeting them in a more relevant and effective manner. And these are the companies that are going to come out stronger in a post-COVID future. I think you're going to see a lot of, at least you're going to see some interesting announcements in the next few weeks.
Some fantastic insights there, Vimal. What do you believe are the first 5 things anyone in duty-free and travel retail should do to mitigate against the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic? And what personal tips do you have?
Yeah. I think it doesn't matter if you're an individual or a business. I think the tips that I'm going to give you would apply equally. It's just a matter of scale. So just as water flows downhill, the impact of COVID-19 is going to impact everyone. It's going to impact businesses. It's going to impact countries, economies, businesses, individuals. And there's going to be significantly lower number of travelers flying internationally. There might even be an aversion to physical proximity, as well as a distrust of typically high-touch environments that travel retail and travel generally is. So the tips I have are gonna try and help you overcome some of those problems that we're going to see in the future. The first thing you need to do is you need to focus on yourself. If you're an individual, yourself. If you're a business, then the business, right? You need to build a strong digital presence. It begins with you. What is your personal brand as a business or as an individual? And there's many misconceptions about personal branding. For me, it's really simple. Whatever people find about you online is your personal brand. So are you someone with a real personality? Does your brand have values? Does it have passion? Does it embody certain missions and so on? Think of it as a one-to-one digital conversation as opposed to a physical conversation. The second thing that you need to do is you need to build your network. So you need to build, and we all know this in business because we do it face to face. We just forget to do it digitally, right? So you need to build your network. Your network is your net worth, as they say. Frequently in business, we need to meet 6 to 10 people in order to make a sale. And it's critical, therefore, that even digitally, you have a wide and a deep network of connections, even sometimes within the organization. So what I do typically when I meet people is I just add them on LinkedIn immediately. That way, whenever they engage with anything that I post, my content resonates through their network. So I'm selling through my network, right? And that gives me exponential exposure to my content. The third thing that people need to do once they have built their brands, they have connected, is they need to engage. So remember, whenever you meet somebody, you talk to them, you have a conversation. Same thing that you need to do on digital. Engage, like, comment, give your ideas, share thoughts. The fourth thing you need to do is create your own content, and the content needs to be relevant to your target audience. So if you're trying to get to a CFO of a company, if you're trying to target consumers, the content that you put out needs to resonate with the things that those people are thinking about. This is nothing more than a simple marketing and prospecting strategy. The content that you create and distribute stays live even when you're sleeping. So it stays 24/7, and it's a great way to showcase your value and for that value to be discovered by people as they search. Content is loved by Google SEO as well, so it really helps you with your SEO techniques. Last but not least, with all the action that you're taking, you need to be diligent and committed to it, right? Everybody tells me that I'm prolific on LinkedIn. I'm not. I just happen to spend 45 minutes almost every day. I post maybe once, sometimes twice a day, but I'm very targeted and I'm very focused with what I do, and I'm pretty consistent with it, right? And the consistency is more important than anything else because it allows me to keep tabs on what everyone's doing. It allows me to exponentially grow some of the networks that I'm building. And most importantly, it allows me time to review and to check if all the actions that I've been taking are worth my business and worth my time or not. So this is what I mean. You need to build your presence, you need to network, you need to engage, you need to create the content, and then you need to do it consistently and review the results. Doing this, you drive a lot of people to your personal properties, to your brand. You gain visibility, and you look better than your competitors, right? So, who wouldn't want to do this for realistically $0 in extra cost?
I must say you do an excellent job, Vimal, on LinkedIn. I know you said you don't post prolifically, but when you do post, it's extremely informative, and I think you have a very, very strong footprint, which you should be proud of.
Thank you.
Having known you for a while, Vimal, since you were working at In-Flight Sales Group, I know obviously that in-flight retail is extremely close to your heart. How do you think the in-flight retail business and aviation sector in general will pan out post-COVID-19? And what would be your message for people in this sector?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough 1-2 years probably, because I'm looking at the same research that you guys are. So whether it's traveler sentiment, forward bookings, airline schedules, consumer spending, historical precedents, I'm looking at the same things, right? I think people will travel shorter distances and by other forms of transport than air. They will be averse to the idea of spending hours in an airport, in check-in queues and so on. They'll be averse to being in a small, in a contained environment like an aircraft. So I think in general, in-flight retail was already struggling, and now it's going to be in deep, deep trouble. I write a lot about it on LinkedIn. My last article got a lot of engagement around the future of travel retail. And I think it's because, in general, many of us realize that we do a terrible job of engaging customers, and that's the main thing that we need to learn how to do in travel retail. Many people still believe in this myth of the captive passenger. You build it and they will come. It's not true anymore, right? In-flight retail conversions for many years now have been to the tune of 1 to 2%. That's not sustainable anymore, particularly in a post-COVID environment where fewer people are going to be flying. So my message to everyone in TR, and not just in flight, is you need to really start by focusing on the customer and then work backwards. Don't start with yourself and your brand and your products and try to push out products, but focus on why customers are buying from you. Who is your target set of customers, and how are you going to understand them and target them and remarket to them? Because this is what's going to, get your audience to you, to get to know your brand, and this is how all of us are going to grow awareness of the travel retail channel, really.
And I'm aware you've been discussing the creation of a code of conduct to make in-flight retail more profitable. Is something like this now a necessity, taking into account the impact of the pandemic, and why?
Yes, indeed. Christine Martin, many people would know her from TRT and iSpy days, approached me to collaborate with her on a series of in-flight health check webinars. We do it every Monday. We've had 4 sessions so far. We've planned 9. And we've had about 40 to 60 people attend each one. So the code of conduct is something we both feel is absolutely vital to the future sustainability and profitability of the in-flight channel. COVID-19 has presented us with an unprecedented, I hate that word, but I have to use it, unprecedented opportunity to pause the business. We don't have a choice. Relook at everything from the ground up and try to redefine everything that is wrong about the model. So under normal circumstances, we just wouldn't have the time to do it. The code of conduct is our desired outcome from the webinars, to be honest. And as far as we know, we are the first and the only channel in travel retail to suggest this as a blueprint for the future of post-COVID. Both of us and many others in the industry, like-minded people, realize that the smaller players like airlines and cruises end up getting forgotten in some of the discussions amongst the big boys. And yet the irony of it, Andrew, is that without airlines, we wouldn't have airports or passengers to have airport travel retail, right? So our webinar, first and foremost, is an open forum for anyone who wants to have a say in the future of in-flight retail to join us. We've had discussions around the key issues like customer experience and commercial model, and we've had the involvement of all stakeholders: brands, airlines, suppliers, distributors, even technology providers. We've also had the involvement of travel tech startups, quite a few of them, for whom this is a gold mine of information and networking. So I think what we're doing is we're trying to enable a more collaborative future that hopefully results in a new model of in-flight retail.
And I wish you all the best with that. Hope it goes well. As I say, at TRBusiness, we also launched a new webinar series. We had our first one recently, and we've got more planned for the future. Vimal, thanks ever so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you in person somewhere around the world really soon when this horrific crisis has passed.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I'm looking forward to seeing you as well. Maybe we can do a run together the next time we're in Singapore and Cannes.
That would be a great pleasure, even though I'm sure you will be way too good for me, but it would be something that I'd love to do. Thank you very much for your time and take care.
Take care. Take care. Stay safe.